I'd like to actually kind of hit the rewind button here and go back to actually before the two of you met. And Amanda, you were in the mode of looking for Gabby because you had had some experiences before, you had had several assistants in the past, and things hadn't quite worked out. Can you talk a little bit about some of your previous experiences and some of the things that maybe didn't work as well for you as they should have?
Gabbi would be assistant number 7. So I have gone through 7 people. As a high I would say a high I myself. I, resonate with a lot of people. I try to see the best in people, and I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. If I like you, then I'm going to try to hire you or see how we can make it work. But that obviously was not a good strategy. So I came to KW. I learned about KPAs. I had hired someone, or I had gone through the KPA process with someone else and hired them, but they just weren't the right fit for me. And I had probably missed a few red flags along the way. And finally, we hired Gabbi in March, and she is above and beyond my expectations.
Gabby stood out during the hiring process. Can you talk a little bit about some of the things that you saw in Gabby among the other candidates, or in comparison to the other candidates, that really made you feel like, I think this one could be different. I think this one could be the one?
Yeah, I mean, with the other candidates, I was kind of hiring from a place of pain because I needed someone so desperately. And I'm grateful for those experiences because they really helped me narrow down on, okay, what is really going to work for me? And it might not be textbook of what the typical role should be, but I got to know myself and my own personal needs and realized, okay, I need someone that is a high S and C, if we're going back to the disc, where someone that's going to be very detail oriented, very organized. But for myself personally, I also need someone that has that I factor and is more interactive, because they're going to be dealing with the clients a lot. And when I can't get to them. So my assistant is basically an extension of me, and Gabbi not only does all of those things very well, but where she stood out above and beyond that was in our alignment of values. So I think the combination of her her skills, being detail oriented, being organized, keeping me on track, but still having a great personality, being able to compliment me with the clients and keep everything keep the engine moving, and our values aligning just really created this synergy that I couldn't have asked for with anyone else.
And can you talk a little bit about some of the things that Gabby did, or her approach, or whatever it was that made you feel, once you made the hire, okay, she's in the door, I'm paying her, this was a big move, but okay, I feel good about this one. This one's going to stick. What were the things she was doing to help you feel great about her?
Well, in the interview process, she had a notebook that was color coordinated. And I was like, this is great. And it was like a calendar that was all color coordinated. And I was like, that is so not me, but I so need that. And then as soon as she walked in the door, she kind of took the bull by the horns, like taking initiative and seeing where are areas that she can jump into and improve. So I was a little bit hesitant, to be honest, because she didn't have formal real estate experience. But she did have professional experience, and she seemed like a go-getter and the type of person that would pick things up very quickly. And then once she started, that was definitely more than apparent. And it actually ended up being a benefit that she didn't have formal real estate experience, because she learned everything how I would want it done, as opposed to maybe bad habits from another team, or, you know, different ways of doing things. So I think, her being new in the industry, it kind of It did take a little bit more training in the beginning, just getting her up to speed of how this is real estate and how it operates. But once she kind of got the hang of it, she learned really quickly, really took initiative and just ran with it. And I love and appreciated that.
General advice to rainmakers about when they're looking for talent and someone, what should they be looking for, but also what should be their expectation, like right there in the beginning. Sometimes people hire someone and they're like, okay, I just threw money at this situation by hiring this person. That person can now deal with it. You were more active in your approach, and you're like, okay, no, I'm gonna, yes, I put money toward this, but I'm also gonna take my time and effort and invest a lot up front there as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge investment that I'm taking, and I take, if I'm going to bring someone in as an employee, like this is her livelihood also. So we have to make it work for both of us. And if I don't take that initial time up front to make it work, then I'll be in the same boat or 6 months later and she's not learning and I'm getting frustrated. So I think if someone possesses the skills, not necessarily the experience, but if they have the skills, where Gabbi was very professional, very detail oriented, she was a go-getter, she learns things quickly, and she cares. I think that's like a huge thing. And the fact that she wanted to do well and succeed in her role, then the easy part is learning real estate. But the things that you can't teach someone are the things that she had already brought into the role.
Can you talk a little bit about what adding Gabbi into the mix, the right person into the mix, has done for you kind of day-to-day wise, in order to help you see this amazing growth?
Yeah, I mean, Gabbi is, well, a personal thing about Gabbi is she has iron rods in her back, but I tell her that that's actually her superpower because she's my backbone. She has just been able to jump into the role and help and support the clients, and in a way to give me the bandwidth to keep moving forward, getting new clients, supporting new clients. She's constantly communicating with them, giving them feedback, telling them what's going on with their transactions so that they're in the loop and we're able to deliver superior customer service to our clients and having nothing fall through the cracks. So, she is my right hand, my extra set of eyes and ears, and we talk every single day, multiple times a day. And she's just able to really help and support the clients in a way that goes above and beyond the expectations that they might have for a typical real estate agent.
Awesome. And Gabbi, anything to add there in terms of some of the things that maybe you've seen after you've gotten into the role that you're in now? Obviously, Amanda's talking about you taking over a lot of the client care. You're able to take that off of her plate, and I's dotted and T's crossed, so Amanda doesn't have to worry about that, so she can go hunt business. And anything else that you comes to mind that you can add?
Yeah, there was one thing that Amanda had pointed out early on, that if someone isn't sharing what's going on in their personal life, something is wrong. Like, I should know what's going on in Amanda's life and she should know what's going on in mine, so that I can pick up where she lacks and she can do the same for me. If she's not feeling well that day, I'm going to answer every call and I'm going to make sure that no one bothers her. And she does the same for me. So it's just really complementing each other and caring about each other as people that really makes us work well together. And it helps our business grow because then we're a solid team, and it's never anything other than that. It's just, we're a solid team. We work together. Where she falls off, I'll pick up, and vice versa. So being that support for her is really important, and it truly helps, keep the well-oiled machine going.
What made both of you feel like this was going to be a great fit was values, and there was a very strong value match between the two of you that kind of came up near the end of the hiring process. Can you all talk a little bit about that briefly?
Go ahead, Gabby.
Yeah. So in the original job description, it had listed, again, I knew nothing about real estate. I didn't know that much about the job, but it had listed that she ran a faith-based business, which was very important to me because I'm someone that's very deeply rooted in my faith. And for our values to align, it builds that personal connection, and that we care about each other and we care about our faith, and we project that through our business. We are here, and I've said it before and I'll say it a million times. If you don't use us, you're doing yourself a disservice. We are the best out there. I wouldn't sleep well at night if any of my friends or family used anyone else, just because we are truly the best and we have the best interest at heart because we care about our clients. We see all of our clients as gifts from God, and that we've been blessed with them, and that we should treat everyone as a blessing, and we should help them to our greatest ability. And anything that we are equipped with, it's been a gift, so we should be projecting that out to the world, and I think we do it phenomenally.
Mhm. Yeah, and I mean, in terms of the hiring process, um, I think first or primarily we question, does someone have the right skills for the job? And then as we got to the very end, that's where we did more of the values exercise. And it really didn't even come up until the very, very end of the interview. But when it did, it was kind of like the icing on the cake, like this person is the perfect person for the role. And we share a lot of the same values and we see the world in the same way. And I think with that kind of everyone has different values, but especially for my number two, the person that's going to be my right hand, I've learned, having gone through so many assistants, that for me, our values needed to align. And it was just, I couldn't have asked for it to align any more than it does. So I'm very grateful.
Gabby, can you talk a little bit about Amanda, the process, the things that made you really excited about this particular opportunity?
Yeah, like I've said with Amanda and in the beginning of our training, when I was looking to move careers, I wasn't necessarily shifting to real estate. I was more attracted to Amanda and how she runs her business. And her values aligning with mine was just an enormous plus, because we do have a great synergy, and where I drop off, she picks up, with her being a high I and me being not as high of an I. I'm really high S and C. Like, for example, if she's having a conversation with someone and we have a meeting in 10 minutes, like, yeah, I can be in the conversation, but as the minutes tick by, I'm like, all right, let's go. Come on. We have something to do. And she's like, oh, okay. She could talk for hours with someone.
Not me.
So it's just a matter of like complimenting each other. And at this point, we're almost 6 months in now. Like, I could read her mind when she says something. Like, she could say a word and I'll be like, oh yeah, we're doing that next week.
You take us back and go back to the beginning and even up to today and talk about your approach to do a great job for Amanda.
Yeah, definitely. So when I first started, I knew nothing about real estate other than you can see houses on Zillow. Other than that, knew not a thing. So coming into it, for being in banking for so long and then coming into real estate, it was really, I wanted to prove to myself that, okay, you got this, you can learn it. You just have to put in the time and put in the work and you will succeed. So doing that, and Amanda being so passionate about helping me so much up front, answering all of my questions, teaching me the right way, not just the way that it's done, really helped. And we had a really good balance. And I think a lot of it comes down to taking feedback. And I tend to think that I take feedback fairly well. When Amanda gives me feedback, she's never, and anyone, if they're giving you feedback in a professional setting, it's never telling you something, it's never yelling at you, it's never malicious. It's just, and if you take it and interpret it as feedback, and instead of it being like, oh, well, she said this to me, that means she's upset. No, she's telling me something so that we can move past it and learn from it. Everything is a learning experience. So I think feedback is the ultimate guide to succeeding in your role. You're not going to succeed in your role unless you interpret feedback as what it is at face value, which is just feedback and not criticism or anything like that. So I think we have a really good balance with her giving me feedback and even me giving her feedback. She'll ask me, she'll be like, please tell me something that you want me to know. So it's just a matter of interpreting that. And like you've said in our training, never taking your foot off the gas. Like we want to make sure that we are constantly, okay, we're not doing anything right now. Well, we need to be doing something right now in order to keep it moving. So just constantly building on what we have and never settling, never saying, oh, okay, well, this is good enough, so we can move on now. It's always building on the foundation that we have so that we will succeed and keep growing our business and growing our team.
Any last little bits of advice for rainmakers, job seekers, people that just got a job similar to Gabbi, in terms of how to either find the right person or to get that job or really succeed on the job?
Yeah, I would say for rainmakers, before you can hire someone else, you need to be hyper aware and self-aware of who you are, what your values are, what you stand for, and be really honest with yourself on what your weaknesses are. And then only at that point can you hire that right person to fill those voids and those weaknesses and complement your strengths. And I would say, as long as someone has the skills needed to succeed in the role, at first I was really hesitant about hiring someone that didn't have real estate experience, but I'm glad that I did, and take that risk, because it is an initial investment, and you have someone's livelihood that Gabbi's investing in me just as much as I'm investing in her. So I take that really seriously. And for us, it's definitely people first, but I protect Gabbi because like she's my right hand. And just knowing that she comes first, a lot of times, or most all the time before our clients, like her needs, to make sure she's good, because clients will come and go, but Gabbi's here to stay. So making sure that she's good, she's happy, she has everything that she needs, and that she's equipped to really succeed in her role, and taking this investment very seriously. I think once you have all of those things, then it's just a matter of hiring the right person.